Good morning and happy Monday. So it is actually the spring here, which is kind of exciting, 75 degrees. I don't know why I feel prompt to share the weather, but it's just something nice about hearing the birds chirp, the feeling of the sun. It's kind of like living in California every day. So, someone asked me a question the other day when I was doing an in-person meeting, and they said, what do you think is the most important thing if you had to have an agent focus on one thing right now? And normally that's a question you'd actually want to think about. And for me, the answer is really easy. It's obsessing over the customer experience. And so last week we went through the seller checklist. And as you can see on the deliverable, it said customer experience scorecard. So what I want to take you guys through today between sellers and buyers is how do we effectively grade ourselves and measure our performance? Has anyone ever taken the time to actually look at their sales and client experience process and really take an introverted journey in to see where they can improve, what they do well, know what to focus on, align it with their calendar, and take inspired action? Anybody? A couple people. Okay, so I'll go back to this at a high level. Remember, the world is changing. You could choose the changes for yourself, or the world's going to choose them for you. And as an industry, we really suck at choosing the changes for ourselves. Look at the evolution of real estate. So if you look at these lawsuits and everything else that's going around, they're essentially saying we get paid a lot of money. Courts are interpreting our commission as price fixing, collusion, violations of the Sherman Antitrust Act. There's multiple class action lawsuits where courts have ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, which are the sellers, saying that brokerages have to pay back commission. So what we're gearing towards is two things. One, a world where we're going to have to sell our services for a check. And ultimately, two, is what you really need to think about is this. 80 to 90% of the business that you have today in general will have is based on past clients and referrals. And people's ability to refer you is directly related to the experience that you create for a client. We focus on phrases like clarity through communication, 7 keys of effective conversations, being able to guide somebody through a process more as an expert and a consultant versus a lecturer and a salesperson. So this is our opportunity to really focus inward. Now, I want to just be very clear about one thing. The whole point of the playbook and all these different sessions is to create an awareness around areas that you have an opportunity to grow in your business. The other part is for you guys all to be focused and understand how to use that implementation tracker and strategize and prioritize what to do now, what to do later, and carve the time out for it. This whole concept of I don't have time to do the work is the craziest thing I ever heard, because doing more, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. As the saying goes, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So we're asking you to spend 1 hour a week on this stuff. It's not rocket science. It's about discipline, consistency, and the patience to know that if you do this stuff over time, you're going to become a better salesperson. You're going to be more effective in your craft. So I implore the people to turn their cameras on, be present like we were in the beginning, let people see who you are, start connecting with people. Here we go. And show up prepared. You have to, I'm not saying you should, you have to show up with these meetings prepared to have your name on, your geographic location, be ready to time block what you need to do next, and take these as the same way as you would like a listing pitch or a buyer opportunity. This is your opportunity to present yourself to 100 plus agents every day that you could build relationships, improve your business, get more referrals, and ultimately not make this business as lonely. So if my friends in San Diego, I see Julia here, can wake up and be prepared at 6:30 in the morning, my friends on the East Coast and Midwest, they can all do the same, right? So look, as this year goes and the summer comes, people start to check out, right? Kids get out of school, people want to go on vacation, but this is also going to be the busiest time of year for you. So if there's ever a time to dial in your experience, it's now. So simple steps after this: block time in your calendar, prioritize what's most important to you, and let's keep the ball rolling. All right, let me share my screen now. And Herson, can you just put a link into the deliverable on our platform so that everyone can get it as well? Okay. Okay, perfect. So when we go through the seller experience scorecard, what are we essentially looking for? Well, what we're looking for is understanding how to break the transactions down into multiple different segments, and then understanding how to grade ourselves in each one and know where to focus. Now, let's talk about the numbers and how to rank. 1 through 5 needs improvement, right? Those are easy areas. So if you're creating a complete CRM contact with tags and notes and you don't do it at all, just give yourself a 1 because you're getting started. If you're doing it and you're doing it very haphazardly, you give yourself a 5. 6 is I'm doing it. I don't do it consistently, but I know how to do it. 7 is I do it. I do a good job, but I could always do better. 8's great. Like I'm doing it. I'm following the system. There are areas for improvement, but it's not something I need to do. 9 is this is a core area of my business where I can pitch to, I feel comfortable to. It's something I feel I do better than most. 10's outstanding, but as Robert told me when we did his action plan, I've shared this many times before in groups, is he goes, I want to get it to a solid 9. I said, why not a 10 or 11? He said, there is no 10 or 11, Chirag. He says, if you have anything's a 10 or 11, that implies that there's no room for improvement. So let's start going through this, and I'm going to help identify how this all works for you. So pre-qualifying, this is essentially an area where you're either going to win or lose the listing. So it's creating a complete CRM, contact with tags, create a collection for comps, share it with the client prior. In the initial contact, imply about their motivations, which is really their med C. So go in here and start grading yourself. Now, what you're looking for are the 1 through 5s. Those are the areas that you're going to want to improve right away. Now let's go into your actual listing presentation. Do you all create marketing calendars? Do you prepare a communication plan? Do you have samples of your marketing all set dialed into an extra large iPad? Do you have a digital version for your iPad? What goes in that printed and bound book? Have you updated it based on what we've talked about? Are you guys diligent about giving copies of the listing contract and disclosures for the agent and the client? These are all areas that relate to service. So if you think about the Four Seasons, the Ritz-Carlton, it is a curated end-to-end experience where no detail is left to chance. There's no reason when you do the same transaction over and over again, 80% of the transaction is the same, 20% is based on the personal experience, market conditions, and solving for the unknown. How do you guys rank yourself with this? So in chat, hit yes if you've already found a 1 through 5 that you can work on. There should be 150 yeses right now. So simple action, block time off in your calendar and make the 1 through 5s 8s. Now, in making something an 8, you need to identify what an 8 actually looks like. So if you're not making a calendar, a solid 8 says, I have a marketing calendar, I deliver it in advance, and it has my pre-launch activities, marketing activities, launch plan, and communication plan all dialed in. You need to understand what you're working towards. Now, your pitch. How good are you at reviewing the Med C? Do you really have a clear understanding of what the expectations are from the seller? Remember, when you're pitching, that's what you're going back to. That's what you're sending in a recap video. That's what you're telling them you're excited about. And if you don't, the next part is if you don't understand their past disappointments, how can you ever make sure you create the right experience? Past disappointments are essentially landmines in the transactions. And ultimately, have you addressed their concerns? Did you even know what those are? Those are all the hidden objections. Pitching compass. Hit yes if you have room for improvement here. And I think everyone should say yes. Selling compass is a really interesting concept because at most brokerages, you don't have much to talk about. Here, you actually have too much to talk about. So you need to understand how to curate what you're saying into a simple elevator pitch. This is another area where people can really focus on. Explaining the market, what you'll do to market their home and get the best price. Well, your marketing plan is how you get the best price, but explaining the market is walking them through the you control, I control, no one controls. All of those things go into explaining the market because that's framing the conversation. That's an area that I would say that is a must-have skill. If you can't share comps, frame the market, and use the us versus them concept we shared about aligning what I control, what you control, working against what no one controls, you'll forever be defending the market. And as soon as you defend something, you own it. The market is not your children. Communication plan. Do you have a predictable client experience? Can you frame the conversation and share it in context that makes sense to the seller, where they're going to agree to your structured plan, not call you all the time, and set a time in their calendar where they can expect to meet with you and you can expect to meet with them? Comps. How do we position your home on the market? Are you guys putting everything in those seller folders into Business Tracker, including disclosure, communication plan, and everything else? That goes down to the concept of anywhere, anytime, any device. And then now we go into the smaller tasks about ordering signs, making copies, the photos, the videos, and ultimately sharing the dates, setting up a showing calendar, follow up with calendar invites. This is one of the most important parts as you start a process in the entire customer experience. Remember, selling your home is not fun. You're literally having an agent telling you how you live is wrong, how you need to depersonalize it so it's positioned in a way that is open and makes every person feel like it could be their home. Then you have a bunch of people going in there being really critical of the process. The least we can do is organize this whole process of setting your home up for sale into something that's streamlined and simple for somebody to follow along to. Coming soon, private exclusive. How do you talk about your pre-launch? Do you review the photos, videos, listing descriptions with the client? By the way, this is how you save money and time in the future. Because once a client agrees that this is the best position of their property, the way that they've shared the description, you don't get those crazy calls after you list the property if I need all this stuff changed. Confirm communication day and set up recurring calendar invite. Putting the property on the MLS and all these little details, your personal website, emailing out to agents. How do you market to them and share it in a different way? What goes on the third-party websites? Marketing assets and marketing center, the property brochures, and understanding the little different touch points in each one, and each messaging platform is different. How you talk about a home on social, a broker email, and client email, these are all different messages. And remember, marketing and messaging come down to one thing. It's like marketing the experience of the home. It's the movie trailer for the home. They don't give the whole movie away. So if you are writing these long descriptions, it's literally a copy and paste of your MLS description. This is something that you need to spend time with and learn about marketing, or hire someone to do it for you. Client testimonials, I'm not going to put it in there. Has anyone reached out to the client testimonial company that we shared last week? A bunch of you hit yes. Let me see who's taken action. If you can effectively put your client testimonials into one place, then you could start pre-framing all the objections that come in sales through third-party experiences. We will share it again. A couple people have. I know Marion Philly does. If you look at Marion Philly, it's what's really interesting. She's in Wilton, Connecticut. She's been the #1 agent forever. Marion has been in the business 20 plus years. And the only thing that I can say let me rephrase this. The one consistent thing in her business that keeps her #1 is innovation and change. They will move with trends faster than most people were. And here in Connecticut and a lot of these suburban markets, people are slow to invest and slow to implement. So it's constantly something that sets them apart. You know how hard it is to be #1 in your market for like 20 years? I encourage all of you, if you have a great referral in Wilton, or you want to get to know how an agent stays #1 for listings, reach out to her. She'll tell you how she's constantly investing into her business. And remember, we will post the link again in the deliverables section of the recap. And if Herson wants to post it in here at the end for anyone to click it and go to the page, I encourage you to sign up. And remember, in building out your team, you want to figure out how to spend your time on the highest income earning activities. Think about this. What is your unique ability? And what is your unique ability is where you should focus your time, and you need to delegate and outsource the rest. Marion Philly. So Marion got, there it is. I've worked with her. David's worked with her. I helped recruit her to Compass. I know their business very well. Bringing the home to market, social media assets, open house assets. Do you guys actually have an open house checklist and execution list? How do you follow up with the people? How do you pre-qualify the people? Property using video generators. If you're not a video generator, if you're not using our digital ad platform, that's another huge miss to create something that's different. There are not that many brokerages that could say, even if there wasn't an MLS, I could market to agents and I could use digital ads to curate and find the buyer of your home. So when they're like, well, what are you going to do for me that's different? That's easy. Do you do just listed postcards? And how are you sharing it? Like the words just listed isn't exciting. Send an email to sellers for the marketing assets for their review. You need to include the sellers in this entire process. Copy the final marketing calendar, copy the final communication plan. How does this stuff all show up with clients? And how do you present this all in the beginning? Now, I can imagine, I'll give everyone a second. If you want to click the testimonial service, click that button right now so that you guys can pull up the link and reach out to them. This is one of the most nominal investments you can make. I'm going to click the link really quickly and just see what pops up. So it brings you to our platform, and there it is. You get I'm actually going to share this for a second. And I'll walk you guys through how this works and why it's important. So they make a video style guide, which they create their own micro content style guide, which ensures your testimonials are on brand with your organization. They have dedicated interview directors, meaning they keep asking your clients questions so they get the right thing. The personalized story formula, I think, is the most compelling, is through an onboarding and interview process. They understand what you're trying to communicate with clients. You get 4 testimonial videos included in this. So if you look at style guides, interview people, your personalized story formula, an entire team of people doing this, and 4 videos, that's what you pay $1,500 for. And then after that, you just send a link out. It's $300 a video. I would encourage you to start doing this with all of your clients. So when people look you up online, they're constantly seeing new people share great experiences. This is one, I would say, dollar for dollar, the best investments that you can humanly make in your business. Because we all know how impactful testimonials are. We all know that whenever we're looking for something, we go on Google, we look for reviews. So we want to make sure that our agents in our community really understand how to delegate. How do you delegate and build out a team? We can't do everything wrong. I said this to our team in our offsite that we had 2 months ago. I said, look, I knew for this company to get to where it wanted to go, I needed to be more reliant on my team than they were of me. And I'm so grateful that we've gotten to that point. The question is who can you rely on your business? How do you outsource this? And look, if your clients don't want to do video, it's not for everyone, but 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, someone will do it. And something's always better than nothing. So out of all the clients you have, 4 of them will do it. And look, one of the things you have to do when sharing video is the framing of the conversation. So here's a script that we'll transcribe and ask. I would say to you, Adrian, has there ever been a time where you've gone online and looked into either going out to dinner, hiring a product or service, or buying something that a review from another person that you didn't know heavily influenced your decision or help you make the decision? They're going to say yes. One of the things that we know is with real estate, it's very hard to choose not the agent, the experience that aligns with what your goals and expectations are. So we find it really helpful for people like you who, for people who've had great experiences to share them, so the right people can find, so it's easy for people to find the right experience that align with their goals and expectations, the same way you do when you look on Google. Can I ask you for 15, 20 minutes to work with our team and helping share your experience and make things easier for other people like yourself? Doesn't that sound a lot better than saying, hey, can I have a testimonial that can make my business look great? So there's your script. All right, let's keep going. I apologize for going rapid fire on this, but I wanted to get through this entire thing and leave you guys with like, holy shit, I have work to do. And the good news is everything in your business is the way it is today because of who you are and what you've done. To get to that next place, it has to be easy to identify where to grow. And if you're a team leader, this is something great to do with your entire team. So for everyone in the Boston Public Library, this is something that you all should do together and then collaboratively take your brain power and create what is an 8 or a 9. If you're not on a team and you're on this, even if there are agents in your office in the playbook, go for it and do it there. Now, if not, this is another great thing to collaborate with agents and be a leader. For anyone that's gathered those teams of lists of people that want to do things, set up a day in your office, a couple of days to work on the buyer and experienced seller scorecard, buyer and seller scorecard, and bring people together in your office for a couple of days. It is worth the hotel, the trip, leaving your business, family, dogs, and everything else, cats in between to go do this. All right, let's keep going. Send an email one day prior with the communication call with updates to the market, insights report, showing feedback. Remember that interactive doc. In the communication call, are you reviewing your client's questions and concerns? Do you review the showing feedback? Do you go through any changes in the market? Do you share the insights reports? And do you create a summary and make sure ultimately they have a place to ask their questions? By doing these check-ins every week, it makes sure that you're in alignment with what you promised. Remember one thing, and I would write this on my desk and I'd look at it every day. The real sale starts after somebody hires you. People think making the sale is winning the pitch. No, the real work starts after they hire somebody. When we get you into this program, for us, that's why we're constantly innovating, asking you for feedback, calling you what's most helpful, because we believe the same philosophy. After you choose to be in this community, make the investment of your time, money, and resources, that's when the real sale starts. So for us, it's constant evolution of growth and enhancing your experience. Now, this is where a lot of this goes bad. When you have an accepted offer or you open escrow, this is where I think everyone can dial in their process. Your clients still need to hear from you once a week, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes. Remember, this is when they're going through the biggest transition of their life. How do you coordinate their move? How do you schedule vendors? How do you go through the inspection, the appraisal, the clear to close process, the walkthrough, coordinating cleaners? This is that whole entire process, right? When you're coordinating inspections, do you send over the equity protection plan, right? All those things in the house that they presented the offer as is, and let them know that please review these in advance. We're not negotiating based on anything that's been disclosed or your client has visually seen in the home. How do you follow up with that? Closing time. Key dates, deadlines, staying in communication, coordinating the final walkthrough, attending the walkthrough, commission bills, planning your gifts, and extending the relationship. The appraisal. How do you prepare for that? I'd be sharing the appraisal process. Look, you have to sell the house twice in today's market, once to the seller and once to the buyer and once to the bank. Here's what we do to ensure that we protect your equity. After closing, do you guys have a process to update your business tracker, the CRM, change the tags, write a handwritten note, and send a gift? And tomorrow we'll go through the buyer experience. We could all take a breath now. Okay, raise your hand if you're like, holy shit, that was a lot. Good. Welcome to the party. What I want to leave you with is this. These are things that you do every single day, and they're never going to change. This is a transactional client experience process. So if you're sitting here and your brain is telling you, which I guarantee you it is, oh my God, this is a lot. Where do I get started? This is too much. This is crazy. This is overwhelming. Who has time for this? Thank you, Joyce. Holy shit, this was helpful. I don't know why I feel the need to use profanity today. This is exactly why you need to do this. You need to control your brain. You remember certainty and comfort. Doing things the way that you've always doing is certain and it's comfortable. Change. Work towards who you want to be, not who you are. I'll say that again. Work towards who you want to be, not towards who you are. So there's one thing you could do to own your brain today is at the end of this, go and set 30 minutes aside. Send an email to somebody. Plan a meeting with your team. Do something. This is the most important thing you could do. This is where all your referrals come from. Working with buyers and sellers from preparing to pitch to execution to following through after is your entire business. All of this other stuff is extras. I know from teaching this, no one ever does this. Think about it. Our kids go get graded on their math, their English, their written, their speaking. And then based on the ones that are low, that's where they focus their time on. We all have the same 24 hours a day. Some of us are just better at saying no and eliminating distractions than others. That's it. No, this is not a service that I'm offering. This is a service that our company uses and that we found incredibly helpful. So it's something we want to share with you. This is not a Chirag Shah Coaching service. However, in any of our partners that we work with that we recommend you to, we sit down, we explain who you are, what our business model is, what are your goals, what are we teaching them. We don't want to just send people off to people that have no idea about what you're getting here, because that's where this whole fragmented experience comes from. Our goal is simple. It's to put everything that is related to your business in one ecosystem. And by the end of the year, we're going to get there. Just like Robert's dream was to put everything you had into one platform, ours is the same thing. It's how to get the most out of Compass and then all the supplemental add-ons. We know what it takes to run a $500 million a year business. I have several clients that do that. Most of the people I work with individually do 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 millions. I know what all those businesses look like. I want to synthesize 15,000+ coaching sessions, 800+ training videos, all the live events, and everything we've made for you here to make it simple. But you all just need to block the time to do it. And learning how to prioritize your learning is a skill. So I'm going to give you guys all 2 minutes back in your calendar. Happy Monday, everybody. I wanted to really shake things up today. And look, take inspired action, control your brain, and remember, work towards who you want to be, not towards who you are. As always, with love in my heart, I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow for the buyer version of this. And let's get rocking and rolling. And look, remember, the people that you're pitching against aren't doing this. And when you could quantify what you have to offer, everything else goes out the window to a seller. Because this is actualized value that they can understand when you show up with a process like this. When someone asks you, what is your communication plan? And you could really explain it, frame the conversation the right way, you win. If you're able to consistently sell through testimonials and you never have to talk about what you do, and you could say, I don't know what makes you different here. I can share some experiences, but more importantly, what type of experience are you looking to have, whether it's buying or selling your home, you change the whole dynamic of the conversation. So let's all keep crushing it together. And thank you, Shanna, for that nice compliment. And that just made my day. So, all right, everyone, go block time off in your calendar. I'm going to be very interested to ask who actually blocked the time for the teams. I would love to see you guys. Tag us on social when you guys do this together. Tracy Anderson, this is for you. All right, everyone, with love in my heart. I love you all. As always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.